Hey, what's going on? This is Jamie Jenkins. This is couples therapy. This is
Me. And this is
yeah.
the man of the hours right here. Don't worry about who I'm meeting.
There it is. There it is.
I am Kalisha Patrice, and this is
Courtney Thomas.
yes. Tell them where to follow you though, because I don't know that name.
Oh, follow me on Instagram at D12C. That's 4 E's, THE, 4 E's, and 12C.
All right, big. Listen, tonight we have a special guest. We are live outside.
Hey, that's what they say. We outside. We really outside.
Got no AC.
We really just outside. We really outside.
But we had our friend stop by, and we wanted to make sure that we included him in everything that we do.
That's right.
Tell them all about like what's going on here, like what you got going on.
Oh man, I got a lot of stuff going on, man. They literally caught me pulling out my dad's driveway and pulling me in.
That's right.
In the discussion.
That's right.
You know, due to my mental health background, I have about 13 years of mental health therapy experience, counseling experience, Oak Circle Center for Intensive Residential Treatment in Memphis, Tennessee at Bartlett, Region 8 Mental Health, Youth Villages, the whole nine.
Yep.
So also do the boxing training as well at the ARC. So I have a lot of things going on.
Shout out to the ARC. Shout out to the ARC. We love the ARC. Last week, CP, we talked about flirtiness.
Flirtiness. What's okay? What's not okay?
What is
limitation?
Flirty? Like, okay, so like you Jamie's friend, right? You his line brother. Like, where do we cross the line when it comes to flirtation? Like, if I see you, can I be like, hey, CP, I see you? Or that's too much?
In my opinion, that's a very broad subject. Well,
too broad. Very
broad. But the way you kind of tailor it to your specific relationship is to understanding your partner's boundaries. It's really connected to boundaries. What is the safe zone that your partner have in terms of crossing the line and not crossing the line? Yeah. So that's something that a discussion has to be had between the two partners, and where do you start to feel uncomfortable and what's driving the discomfort? Is it something prior to your relationship, or is this something that really was initiated within the relationship? So that's very important to identify what's driving that behavior. Where are those fears and eccentricities coming from?
That is deep. That is deep. That is so deep, because we didn't get that deep.
We didn't get that deep.
For us, it's like, you know, if you do this, you do that, it's too much. But it's like, what is your personal preference? Like, how far are you willing to go, and how far is disrespect for your partner? But those are things that have to be discussed early on in the relationship. Today, we have talked more so about just life precursors. Like, where are you in life that, like, do you feel like you are ready to marry, ready to, like, when do you know when it's your time to jump the broom, as the people would say?
Well, I like to say relationships are an addition to self.
Yeah.
You have to be happy within your own personal entity, your own personal well-being, in order to add something in addition to self into your life.
Okay.
And if you're adding something to your life, it should expand, it should benefit in a great fashion. So obviously, you know, I was saying I can do bad by myself. So don't look for outside resources to make yourself happy. You have to figure out how to make yourself internally happy, and it's going to exude externally, and it's going to draw people towards you, and it's going to be a connective spirit when you do that. And then that way, both of you guys are bringing individuals security and self holistic well-being to the table. When two people are whole, when they meet each other, you have opportunity to grow. If you have one person whole, the other person is still evolving and developing and trying to find For example, you meeting sometimes you meet people that hadn't met their developmental milestones, or that like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You got people that's
Ooh,
you haven't you got the physical needs, and you have the safety needs.
break it down, cause
So a lot of us, psychology 101, pyramid thing with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We have the physiological needs, which is food, clothes, shelter, basic needs, things like that. Once you have that, you have an opportunity to feel safe in that aspect. You go to the safety needs, the security, what makes you feel safe, stability with your employment, and which so on and so forth. These money, these kind of things help you feel safe. And then you go to the next phase, which is love and belonging. Are you connected? Do you feel belong? Do you have this connectivity of belonging to something? Do you feel whole in that aspect? You go to the esteem phase.
right.
That their belonging gives you the ability to have appropriate self-esteem and internal feelings of well-being, and you exude confidence when you're able to go from one task to another. And then the last one is self-actualization.
Yeah.
So some people may be stuck in one of those phases that because of their early childhood development or interpersonal issues with previous relationships, whether it was abuse or just it could be emotional and physical abuse, or they witnessed something traumatic.
Yeah.
Or it could be a lot of things. But if that person is not whole and you're whole, they're pulling from you, and then you're sacrificing so much, and it's very difficult for their relationship to grow. But
those needs that you spoke of, or if you're going to try to open this door, just so a little air can come out. But when you talk about those needs, it really speaks to love languages.
Absolutely,
that is like where love languages come from. So tell me, like, what is your love language if you think you have one?
I would say acts of kindness, physical touch. I can think I would hone in on those two because acts of kindness is good to me. I mean, personally, acts of service. I'm sorry.
What are they? Acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation. There's two more.
Some gifts. I think gifts is one of those. Yeah.
And am I glitching?
Yeah.
Don't do that. Because I thought I was out here. Open it up then. But yeah, so anyway.
You got something right there.
So all right. This is a pivot right here.
Okay.
Because we have a prayer line on Sunday.
Okay.
And today we talked about women's suffrage and how women became to be in the workforce. And so on that note, I had a feeling about women preaching because of how I was raised. What are your feelings about the order of ordainment for like religion purpose and like just life purpose? Because I know that a lot of times we as what are we, millennial, Gen Z, Gen X? I don't know what we are. Like, where are we? Millennials? Are we millennials?
I am.
Okay.
I think it's we're the last phase of individuals that crossed over into adapting to being a millennial. We were actually had the best of.
I got a picture to post.
We're in the last phase of the old school.
Yeah.
Get it out the dirt, get out the mud mentality, and evolving into the because like you understand, our generation kind of helped found the internet. The internet was born
sophomore year.
Yeah. Internet was born, with us. So
where are we as far as religion goes in the order of ordainment? Like, are women allowed to be leads in churches? And like, how do you feel about that? And you don't have to, I know you politically correct, because if I know two politically correct men, here they go. Like, talk to me about your feelings on that topic as it pertains to religion and women being leads in churches and stuff to that matter. If you want to, you could decline it if you want.
That's one of those situations where, these are the type of things you have to talk about before you go into a deep, consistent relationship with. Because, a religious disagreement or religious beliefs can really drive a wedge into a relationship and really tear it apart, no matter if you were previously happy prior to that or not. Because it goes into because I think about it. Relationships. I know as far as I'm concerned, if I call a female my girlfriend, I feel like I have the potential to see her as my wife.
Right.
Otherwise, I would never call her
There's
my
no
girlfriend.
point. There's no point.
Yeah. So that being said, obviously you think about maybe kids down the road.
And how are you gonna raise them?
There you go.
Mhm.
That's my point.
Yeah.
So these things have to be resolved
Yes.
prior to moving forward.
Yes. And we are people who come from different backgrounds, right?
You're a Jehovah's Witness. You're a Jehovah's Witness.
First of all, it's Jehovah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And
I said it wrong sometimes. I'm sorry.
second of all,
You were raised
that
Jehovah's Witness.
does not determine anything, because like I have a basis. I have a religion that I was born in, that I was bred into, and I have people who are around me who have kind of
Completely different.
Yeah. My father was not a Jehovah's Witness, but my father, because they was
So
holy.
cold, yeah.
Yeah. My father is a Jehovah's Witness today. Like, I was born into the religion. My father was not into Jehovah's Witness, and he was not preaching, but today he is. So it's just like, it's so much out here, and it's like, how do we decide where to go?
Well, I think we are in the generation of some self discovery,
Yo,
right?
For sure.
When I grew up, you are going to Bible class, you are going to church, you are going to, when the church doors are open, we're not going back and forth. My mom was not going back and forth. She didn't care what time I made it home, whatever. Sunday morning, we going.
Yeah.
Bible class, church. If we have an what do you call it? Revival.
Oh,
Yeah. If we go on revival, we going. If they going, if the church is going to, I don't care if they're going to down 49, we going, and you gonna pay attention. You're not gonna go to sleep in church. You don't go to sleep nowhere else. So
why did you not go to sleep in church? That was something that we learned over at the Kingdom Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My mom was not sweating.
Sleep in church? We had a whole Bible sermon about
going to church.
Yeah, about going to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah. But the biggest thing is,
okay.
I don't. But
There's a kid that went to sleep at church and fell out of the chapel and died. Like,
I don't know about that.
Okay, I'll find it.
Okay. So what we did was we allowed. That's it.
No, it's not.
Okay. we have allowed our kids to kind of choose their path. We have not been into the force feeding of anything, right? That's from careers to sports to life itself, to identifying themselves. We have kind of, I guess, fell into or grown into a lot of self-identity opportunities for our kids. So like religion. So we are the generation that says, hey, we would like you to have some religious background. We're open to it. What do you think? You tell us where you stand on religion. And like some kids are, that's what they want. Some it may be too structured for them because they have so much freedom everywhere else. And so they see religion as something very strict. And so that's how a lot of churches are changing. A lot of new churches, generational churches, they are out here. I don't want to say they are mimicking, but they are much more lax than tennis shoes. We couldn't wear no tennis shoes and certain things to church. A t-shirt, man, you talking about going in a t-shirt to my church growing up?
Yeah,
not a chance. Button down, you're gonna have buttons on it. It's gonna be tucked. You gotta have a belt on.
That's crazy.
Jogging pants and stuff like that. Like my kids,
come as you are.
Right.
That is a new age, and you know what? Things are getting more lax because as a Jehovah's Witness born in person, we could not wear pants, but they have laxed the dress code in the Kingdom Hall where we can now wear pants. But let me tell y'all about what did you say?
Oh my God.
Eutychus.
Yeah.
Eutychus in Acts 29:12 was a young man who was sitting on an open window and fell asleep and toppled from a third-story building and was dead.
I ain't never read that.
Well, you better look it up.
I'm gonna read a few comments. Kanoa says, I cannot even listen to a woman preach. It's weird.
Do not read Kanoa's comments
Okay.
because we do not reflect the comments of Kanoa Brown on Hello Black Man.
Moses Bay said, if you're gonna take your ass out on Saturday night, you can get your ass right. Hey, you must know that's my mama right there all day. Get up, let's go.
I just think it's interesting that it really comes down to your core belief system. You know,
Core.
usually
Core
when
belief,
people
memories, all of
you
it.
got your flexible
Yeah.
people, then you have your more rigid people.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, everything is born out of a balance. There's initial baseline of balance when you're interacting or when you initiate development. But if you encounter an extreme behavior, like Jamie was giving an example of his mom being very rigid in terms of and inflexible in terms of going to church, no matter what, no excuses, point blank or period. So that rigid, extreme response to Jamie seemingly produced a more flexible outlook on his life because, you know, it's almost like, you know, when something brings you too far to the right, you overcompensate by going to the left to bring balance. So
I can see
you know,
that.
I think that's where that makes it
Probably both of us.
Yeah,
That's
of
very
course,
deep.
yeah.
That's very deep.
Go ahead. What's going to read something?
Yeah, I can always heard something, but you can say it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes for you too. Like Jehovah's Witness thing, you know, a lot of times they're seen as rigid and very inflexible.
They
in terms of
are.
Kids not playing sports and not
Yes.
celebrating birthdays.
Yes.
So again,
all
you
the
got
things.
two rigid upbringings that produce a very flexible outcome due to overcompensation and trying to bring back balance.
Don't not read Kano's comment, but I
Okay.
want to also comment on what he's saying
Okay, go ahead.
because I had a very kind of candid moment with you last night about celebrating things that we didn't celebrate as far as it came to as Jehovah's Witness.
Okay,
And the
yeah.
thing was premarital sex and having babies out of wedlock.
Sure.
It was something that we did not do. So I have carried that core memory into my present life. And so I'm very hard on my kids about teenage pregnancy, about getting pregnant before you're married.
You're
Like
more verbal about those
I'm
things.
very definitive, like, hey, if you do this, I'm not gonna hate you, but it's not something I'm going to celebrate. I can't celebrate these things because it was something that was driven into me. Like, this is not a celebratory
Possibly.
event. It's not.
Possibly trauma.
Yeah, but not necessarily trauma. Like, I don't think all things that you view as trauma is trauma because,
Okay.
like, I don't think as an adult that it should be celebrated. I really don't, because like I have raised children as a teenager.
Okay, so
trauma can be interpreted in so many
Here we
different
go.
levels.
You go to therapy.
Almost like it don't have to be this drastic thing where you was in this big
room
car accident or somebody actually hit you and beat you over and over again.
Agreed.
Sometimes trauma can be a missed out experience in the early childhood that you felt everybody else experienced, and you really was upset or resented your parents as a result for not giving the opportunity.
I don't resent
you do. Not necessarily. I'm just saying. So as a result, when you can oversensitize something where it can be very triggering for you, and that can be a form of trauma as well.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with it. Like, I don't think that what I am experiencing is trauma. I think it's more so something that it's just like kind of like how we are today, right? If he was talking about kids growing up today, like whippings and things, like, yeah, we shouldn't beat our kids, but like there is a level of discipline and boundaries that we don't have with our children that we should. Like, when I called my daughter the other day, I got her location. I just see what she is. And I call her and she's like, I was like, where you at? And she's like, why? And I'm like, pause. Like, because I'm your mother and I pay your car note, I pay your phone bill. Like, there's no reason why she asked me why.
I mean, so does why necessarily mean it, or why, like, what can I do for you?
No, why means why. Yeah. Like, why means nothing. Like why?
Like, why? What you got? What you need me to do?
So
why? If I call my child, and see, we gonna hone in on this in a minute. If I call my child, who I am supporting 100%, and they say why, I feel disrespected.
No matter what the precursor is.
Come on,
no matter what their mentality
talk
is.
to us about. I don't care.
You know, right or wrong in this situation, but I feel sometimes the kid can be coming from a perspective of, where is this coming from? Like, you don't normally ask me that. This is not a norm for you.
This is a norm.
So you generally ask them that?
No.
So what do you say?
No, she does not. So Janiyah has. Janiyah has.
Okay, don't get into it.
Okay. Kanoa says, I feel you should have some type of higher God to at least make you live with some type of morals. I don't care if it's worshiping a flower. If it makes you treat people right, keep worshiping your flower.
There you go.
Got some tags here. Leach says, I was raised the exact same way. Chapel Hill Missionary Baptist Church.
Okay.
Religion is why we missing a whole generation. My mama too. Got some tags. Gannard said, God gave 2 great commandments. 1, love God with all your heart. Love your neighbor as yourself. Follow those 2, and you got it. Matthew 22:35-40.
All right.
A lot of times I see it as family. You know, sometimes you got different outlooks on what a family could be and what that looks like.
Yeah.
But every person has a fundamental need to goes back to belonging.
Yeah.
So you have to have a sense of belonging and self-efficacy and reassurance. You need to get that from somewhere. Whether it's, you know, some people have a single parent situation where it's not overly loving. So connecting to the church that might fulfill that gap for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to get that family sense of belonging from somewhere.
Single parent.
Yeah.
Actually, that's a great segue, as they say in the corporate America. Single parent. Describe a single parent from your perspective. Why are you looking at me?
I'm just looking.
What is a single parent from your perspective?
I'll let you have that one time.
Oh.
I mean, for me, it's a single household with 1 income and no other outside entities. That's a single parent household to me, be it man or woman. When you start talking about someone paying X amount of bills or taking certain responsibilities, I think at that point you are co-parenting, even if you're dating, because now these people have access to your children, they have access to rules and regulations, they're going to have input. So at that point, I don't think you're a single parent.
Can of worms.
From my standpoint, I don't think you're a single parent at my point. Okay. And that's what they go for, man, woman. It don't matter.
Okay, I love that. I love that
answer.
Yeah. Because what that opens up, like Cynthia, do you want to weigh in before?
I will. I'll let you go.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, so when you talk about dating and being in somebody else's space and parenting their children, at what point do you actually get the privilege and ability to be a parent to those kids? Like, once you start paying bills, does there have to be a conversation with the other parent? Like, I need to know, like, what the male perspective is of how you feel about when it's okay to be a parent to other people's kids, and is there a conversation that needs to be had?
Well, this is my thing, right? One, having kids or not having kids does not make you a parent or any less of, right? Okay. So that's one thing about me. I'm gonna give you I'm gonna give you an example. Okay. I got a cousin, Brad, right? He doesn't have biological kids.
Calling people names,
right?
Chuck.
No,
got a cousin Chuck.
No.
Cousin Chuck.
So I mean, Brad, I love him, right? He doesn't have biological kids, but he can parent my child
any day of the week.
Right. Exactly.
Any day of the week.
So it does not. Just because you don't have any kids, it does not make. It does not mean you can't parent or can't go into a relationship being a parent.
That's right.
And so, like, a lot of times that's the segue. Well, you don't have no kids, you can't tell my kids this. Yeah. You're in a bad position starting now.
When I am in a bind, I call Brad.
Yeah. And so my thing is, when can you parent a child? I think it has nothing to do with monetary. Because if I came in and paid the bill, that don't mean I can go and tell a child what to do. I need to develop some type of boundary and system with that child. Okay. The things that I pray, the things that I find priority, or the things that I find that are degrading his life or his or her life. Hey, this is what I see. Let's have a conversation about it. Right. And allow them to give you some feedback, because they may be raised, 6, 7, 8, 12, 18 years old to think totally different. But they need to know what to expect in your presence.
Those are great points. That is Jamie 2405. Let's go to coordinate.
So
2408.
So expound on what Jamie's saying. I agree almost totally with what he said. So we have to get away from the ideology that parenting is a biological concept.
Ooh,
it's more of it's more of a skill set. It's more of a skill set. Parenting is a skill set. So you separate parenting from biology and actually being born into that is as an entitlement. It goes a lot farther. So if you have the skill set to be a parent, that's where it starts, and then it's born out. It goes further when you can get the amount of respect from the person that if he naturally and organically feels like he wants to give you or she wants to give you her respect,
Yeah.
the parenting process can start. It's
Yeah.
almost like when you're like in the psychology, we have a thing called play therapy.
Mhm.
If you can get a therapeutic rapport, is what you call it, and you know, that comfort and they want to open up to you and feeling whole when they're around you,
Mhm.
a parenting process can start, and then their relationship can start. So you got to have a rapport, relationship, and you also have to have that skill set to be a parent in order to be a parent.
Yeah.
So it's born out of respect from the person that's rendering that you're rendering authority to.
Yeah, that skill set fire.
Yeah, yeah, I love that too because like I have a coworker who has a new mate in her life. Her kids are like semi-grown, like kind of like my kids were small when you and I got into a relationship,
Mhm.
and so were yours.
Mhm.
And you know, we have a very great dynamic with our children. They are very.
It's almost unreal.
It is very unreal because our kids are more siblings to one another than they are to each other. Like his kids and my kids love each other more than they love each other inside their own home. Like, and it's crazy. It is. It is. And
It's natural. Right.
And
It was nothing forced.
very,
Yeah.
that's the word. Or it's very organic. And so like, and no, we definitely didn't be like, hey, we like this person and they're gonna be with you. It was none of that.
Yeah.
It was just like we hanging around
Sit
each
at the
other.
dinner table and listen to Johnny.
Yeah. So my coworker was like, she found a guy and she was like, the moment I knew he was the guy for me is when he developed a bond with my children that no man had with him before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something that mothers, because as a woman with 3 kids, I didn't think I was gonna find no man. Willa told me to hush. So I'm a hush. But if you can find somebody to love you, not just for you, but for the family that you've already grown and built, that's something that you can't.
Okay,
find.
I got another
Okay,
another
let's go.
segue, right?
All right,
Tommy,
let's go,
they go
let's go.
Tommy. It's crazy. This draw Tommy name up. He
Yeah,
showed up.
because
He been on.
we're not gonna call
Right.
it age, but
He's
Tommy,
on
tell us how you finna be.
He's on Facebook once every 6 years.
10 at least.
Right.
With Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh my
Be on your
Exactly.
page. Got to be. Because we didn't never be on here.
Exactly. So let me ask you this. So there is also I don't want to say a stigma, but restrictions or I guess personal beliefs. Some men say, "Hey, I wouldn't even date a woman with kids," and some men are saying the same thing. I see it on Facebook from time to time. What's your stance on that? And I guess it's personal preference. So, but what's your stance on that?
I feel like a lot of times that's born, not even because of the children itself. It's usually born of a phobia of having to interact with the other kid's parents.
Yeah.
So
it's a step above.
There you go. Yeah.
My Lord.
So it may be some
Praise.
history. It might be
And
some,
worship.
a lot of times there's some trauma, some history surrounding either witnessing a difficult co-parenting relationship
Mhm.
or being involved in a difficult co-parenting relationship.
Oh yeah.
So again, if you had like a ex and she had a kid, or you was dating this chick, she had a kid, and the dad was very overbearing or telling the kid to do this to the man or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you witnessed your parents go through it a lot, and you was the kid and the stepdad came over and whatever. So a lot of that things you carry.
I never have thought about that, and because one, you are not a product of that, and neither am I.
No.
Like we've never had those type of issues, so that's not something that we would look at from a perception. And I'm a health care major. Like you over here is psychologically killing me because I took psychology, went to Whitfield for my clinic.
He using this every day.
Yeah, and I'm just like, so that's not something I would look at. So I appreciate your perspective on that.
Yeah.
My parents are together, have been together for 44 years, 42 years, but it was not a very healthy relationship. If that makes any sense to you. So like, even though I understand parenting, I also understand that parenting that is toxic is not healthy. And so like the divorce rate in the United States is not extremely high because I looked at it today recently. How do you feel about divorce rates and why do you think they're high in areas and less high in certain areas? Like, what's your mental health perspective on that? Like, how do you feel?
Well, I mean, a lot of times commonalities are more common in certain areas than there are others. Like sometimes the expectation of divorce being easy or hard is specific to a certain area.
Mhm.
So if I'm in an affluent, pretty good area where a lot of families are around me,
Yeah.
you'll be surprised. A neighbor that you've never met can influence your behavior.
Yes.
You know, so
Indeed.
yeah, so
So
yeah,
We
really
cool with our neighbors. Let's just
yeah. So you see a lot of parents walking with their kids to the park,
yeah.
playing kids next door or whatever, or taking the soccer mom, taking the kids to the game.
Yeah.
You feel then you also got to look at internally in a relationship where some parents feel supported. You know, are y'all supporting each other? You know, a lot of times you have the expectation where wifey always takes little Johnny to school.
Mhm.
She's fine.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes you gotta do a check-in with wifey and say, babe, you know, sometimes I see you, you know, taking little Johnny to school. You want me to chip in this week? No. Matter of fact, you take the week off and I got you. And that little small gesture of that little small gesture of appreciation, even though you may work 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Sometimes, even though you work 2 jobs, the wife may not work any job. She may be a full-time.
regardless of what it is, you gotta break up them
You gotta break up the
I want a
monotony. And
full-time husband.
it's about being.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's about acknowledging the person
Yeah.
and in their space and
Yeah.
demonstrating appreciation and whatever they do.
I
That is
know,
so
for real, and it's something I want to go back to is just toxicity, because a lot of people stay in relationships, and I wanted to post this on my page earlier. I've had friends who come to me and say, 1, they don't want to start over. 2, they're staying in a relationship because of the kids. 3, they're staying in a relationship because they feel like this person is gonna go to the next person and be the person who they have trained.
We
them
have
to
heard
be.
that.
Yeah, like it's none of those are reasons to be unhappy. Because if you're not with the right person, they're never going to be the right person. You cannot make somebody the right person.
Well,
Okay, here we go.
yeah, I mean, it's about having your own mentality and understanding when you're not
I'm
being.
wrong.
No.
Okay.
It's about just understanding personally when you're not being appreciated.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, what are you reinforcing to the other person that you don't want in return?
That part.
Yeah. So it's like you teach people how to treat you by the way you respond and react to them.
That part.
So you have to make sure you're sending out the right responses and actionary clues to your partner to reinforce to them that I don't accept their behavior or I do accept their behavior.
Yeah.
And silence is,
Acceptance.
acceptance. Yeah.
Silence is acceptance? No, it's not. Let me be clear.
Yeah. If you don't
Think about it. What are you reinforcing to the person when you're silent when you should have spoken up?
you don't have no problem speaking up. So
No, I know it's not a problem for me. But this is the last thing, and we're gonna close out because we've had CC over here all night, and I know he's ready to go home.
Yeah, it was totally unexpected.
But one of the things we talked about tonight was submission, and
the word.
Yeah, and we talked about
It's
it a
tricky,
little
right?
bit earlier. Yeah, as far as women in the head and the lead, and we talked to my father-in-law about it. We've had a whole conversation tonight because I am a submissive person just because of the way I was raised. If he said something, I don't care if I'm making more money than him. I don't care if I'm doing more than him. I'm going to submit to his head because that is the way I was raised. As women, we fall out of order of what, things are. And I know there's going to be some women out there like, I don't like her. She is a bad person. But like, we have to love and give men the lead when they are willing to take the lead. Now, if your man don't want to take the lead, I can't talk to you.
Yeah.
But if your man is in a head position and he wants to be the head, give him those liberties to do what he needs and wants to do. If I say, babe, what you want to eat tonight? And he says, I don't know, and you don't cook nothing, it's okay. He didn't tell you what to cook. You in good place.
That's one of the things my dad said. He was just like, with his mom and dad, his dad was never the head of the household. Like his mom ran the house. His mom made the money.
This is what he said specifically. He said the head of the household don't mean you gotta have male
parts.
Yeah,
that's my dad.
And this is only a language thing.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
language.
Think about it like this.
Yeah.
Just because I delegated something to the wife doesn't mean she's necessarily the head of the household.
No.
You gotta think about it. You think about it like this. You deal with people according to knowledge.
Yeah.
If I know I'm inadequate at managing money or I'm not the type of person that renders authority or discipline children well.
Yeah.
And I know my wife is really good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. optically or visually, she may come across as the head of the household, but who cares? The goal is to win and have a productive outcome. So if she's doing all of those things well, whether she looks like the head of the household or not, we talked to each other and we decided that she was great at that particular thing. And you know, that's the way we're going with that, because I'm not so great at that thing. So who cares optically what it looks like? It's
Who cares?
yeah, so you know.
Hey, that is the word of the night. We might get some t-shirts. Who cares? I don't care.
No.
We
Yeah,
don't care.
it's about
We
having
don't
a
care.
common interest of
The household.
the outcome.
Of what's best for your
Yeah,
household.
exactly.
It don't have nothing to do with mine, his, yours, whatever your household looks like and how it works best. That's what's best for you.
Yeah.
But Larry Hooper.
Let me read this. I got one scenario for you guys. Larry Hooper says, fact that they contribute towards the fact that they contribute toward rising divorce that didn't exist years ago are women wanting to be the man in a relationship, masculine mindset, feeling they don't need a man once they become able to provide for themselves. Social media, spend more time chasing social media likes and fame than with your family. Leach says, I totally agree with you, Sora, but some can't due to the way they were raised. Some men can't lead.
Some men can't lead.
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
I would say she's talking about leading.
And again, it goes back to what I just said. It's about self-awareness. You know, like if I'm not good at, just you got to name things. It don't overgeneralize everything. Like maybe the man, you know, he can't.
Okay.
No, let me finish.
No.
Okay,
We got to do something specific.
Okay,
Right?
okay.
What are you doing? You okay?
Okay.
Okay. So one of the things one of my biggest opportunity is budgeting, right?
Mhm.
No, I'm not. I'm not
Go
gonna.
ahead.
It's a small book.
Go ahead.
Okay, baby, relax.
Relax.
But budgeting, right? You tell me, hey, you need to do this. You need to be more into the budgeting, right?
Don't say that.
Right.
Go ahead.
You infer, right?
Okay.
So I know that is not one of my strong points. I've
Okay.
never been a great budgeter. I'm spirit of moment. I'm spontaneous. I'm whatever. However,
You're the fun part of the relationship.
maybe so. And so you do it well. Like you write everything down. Like you are down to the budget. Right. You can tell me, say, hey, we got $838.47 coming out Wednesday and Thursday. I'm like, how do you even know that? Like, what are you talking about?
Like, I am accounting high school, baby.
Right. But the thing about it is, that's what you do well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's one of those things where how much input do you need from me? Or should I be, if I'm not good at it, how much time do you need for me to be in the way of it?
And also, just because a person is not good at something doesn't mean they shouldn't be aware of what you're doing and how you're doing it. Sometimes it's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a way, even though she's leading that aspect of the household, if she include him on it, he can still be somewhat of leading his household, but just not being the person that's in charge of that particular aspect.
I got a question here, TT.
Okay.
I'm the budgeter. I know what's coming in from my perspective. Don't know what we don't have a let's talk about that for a second. We don't have a collaborative we're in a relationship, but our money does not come to the same place. We have always been separate, yours, mine, yours, but we work together. Whatever needs to be done, if it needs to be taken care of, we take care of it together.
Yeah.
So I decided I was gonna get a new vehicle. Right?
Oh,
And here's the thing. No. So here's the thing. So it's like I'm the budgeter, right? And he's saying this to us, and I'm like, I know that matter of factly, whatever happens, if I get a car, I'm gonna get it in a budget that is specific. That no matter what happens, this car is gonna be paid for, right? Right? And so he's like, I don't think we should do it. So like, where do you go in a relationship from there? Because you are the strong suit in this. But your partner is saying, this is what he said to me. You're giving me full power. You're only asking me, what did you say? Why am I asking you? Why did you say I was asking? Because you said I was giving you full power.
I said because in your mind, you've already went through with it.
Yeah.
Like you're asking me, say, hey, what do you think? But then if I have a negative response or say, hey, this is why we're not, then versus living there or dying on that hill and being done with it, we revert back to why we should.
Let me say this. this is how this goes. So obviously, Khalees wanted the car. In her mind, she had already purchased the car. She kind of
In the driveway.
exactly, but she brought it to you out of respect.
Yep.
But again,
A lot of respect.
when you bring something to your partner that you're respecting, are you really respecting him if you're not totally open to his feedback? Because are you listening to be defensive? Are you listening to be defensive? Are you listening to respond? Or are you really listening objectively to really understand what he's saying and his perspective? And because at the end of the day, what's the common goal? Is this purchase or is this going to benefit our relationship? Is it going to ultimately benefit the household? You got to keep the main thing, the main thing. So whose perspective is more in line with the common interest? That's really what you should be focused on.
How do you feel about this, the way you just said? Because
I couldn't say it any better.
but how do you feel? Like, do you feel like the common interest was together, or do you feel like I came to you because I got questions?
Why?
Like,
Okay, no.
I came, I didn't try to the car.
No, you did.
I wanted your opinion. I wanted to respect your feelings.
Let me tell you how much respect you have for me,
Okay,
right?
Let's hear it.
Because you had so much respect, right?
Yeah.
We had
Not had.
I'm going back to
Okay.
that moment, right?
Go ahead.
You have so much respect for me.
Yeah.
We had the conversation.
Yeah.
We totally disagreed, right? Totally. Yes, totally. You totally disagreed. We moved forward,
Yeah.
and what you had planned or the opportunity you had planned, we pushed it out further without any detriment to our relationship, right? It's not right. It's not something that we are at each other about every day. So that's how much respect you have. And you're like, okay, let me see your opinion. Now, even when you're giving your feedback, that doesn't necessarily mean, hey, this is going to be sunshine and rainbows, right? And you took it in and says, okay, I'm not happy about it. This don't put me in the greatest of moods, but the respect you shown was, okay, let's move forward. Now I really understand where you're coming from, and we can move forward in this regard.
I'm in tears because you don't understand. Like it just as she said, it's not. I definitely don't give you full power. I have an ultimate respect for you, and I think relationships need this. And we're gonna close out on this note because I'm not gonna be crying out here and being ugly and stupid. Hold on, I got on my Damian Gary, my Two Dames
clothing.
2 days clothing. I got on my fitness stuff because I had a stomach bug. Don't keep it. I lost 10 pounds this week, so I've been wearing fitness clothes. Yes, you see her. So, anyways, but no, I do have respect for you, and relationships is very important. I don't have a full respect for you. If I come to you with something, it's because I respect your opinion and I love you and I appreciate you. So, like, guys, if you out there, I hope you tune into this because this has been phenomenal.
Hey,
I have appreciated you to the fullest. Thank you for hanging out with my guy. Telling myself what's up. Shout outs from you. Shout out to you.
Clothing. Let them know about the boxing thing one more time. How they get in contact with you?
Yeah, just reach out to me either on my Facebook inbox or Instagram Instabox. Instagram inbox as well. We have practice on group training sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 to 8:30.
And what's your at?
And again, it's at 12C. I'm sorry, at D12C. THE 4 E's 12C. That's my Instagram, and obviously CT is my Facebook name. Inbox me on either outlet, and we'll go from there.
That's what's up.
We do not say the. He's at the.
All good nights here.
What you got, baby?
I already said I'm rocking 2 days. I'm working out this week because
you ready? Well, listen, man, it has been a phenomenal show. I like to thank my LB, my frat. This has been one of those shows. We're gonna watch it. I'm gonna tell you what she's gonna do. When this ends, when this ends, she's gonna rewatch every show, every word. We thank y'all for your comments, thank y'all for your shares, a lot of tags. And we do this every Sunday. We thank y'all for joining us, man.
Wait, before
Oh.
y'all go, this week, y'all got to watch Christian and Josh. They're at the Rocky Mountain Vibes in Colorado. If you're in Colorado or Colorado Springs, Denver, anywhere around there,
Mhm.
my little cousins are balling their butts off in baseball at Colorado Rocky Springs. Y'all gotta watch it. Y'all gotta talk about it on the show this week. We gotta get out there to see them. I love them. I can't wait till they come home. And when they come home, I'm gonna make them move like celebrities. Y'all gonna meet them at Zaza, meet them at Trios, meet them at Fourth. I'm claiming it. I'm calling it
I'm
into
with it.
purpose because they are doing big things. They are from Mississippi. They are brothers who are balling minor league together. They on the move. So y'all be sure to watch out for them. I love y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, peace.